I read a paragraph or two from Shovel Kings. It's the first story in the collection, and I researched it by interviewing a lot of men, no longer young, who came to England to lay the cable for the electricity. Many of them became millionaires and went back to Ireland. Some of them died, and some are down and out, but still full of the memory. I made it to one man then. I compressed all my research, and he's called Rafferty. And Rafferty is in London, and one day a great thing happens. He gets chosen to go back to Ireland to look after an older man. And he tells the narrator of the story, he asks to meet her. And they meet in a graveyard that's very, very friendly graveyard. It's a passageway through the town, somewhere in North London. Birds in their truant giddiness swooped and scudded about, but a few pugnacious ones had converged on a plastic lunchbox that had the remains of a salad and were conducting a bitter warfare. And this is Rafferty speaking. When I'm sitting on a rocking chair over there on the borders of Leitrim and Roscommon, and they ask me how it was in the building work, I'll tell them it was great. I'll tell them it was great altogether. And I'll tell them about Paddy Pancake. And Paddy Pancake is a story that has stayed in Rafferty's mind because it's a happy story. And it's that one Shrove Tuesday, because they were all not going to drink for Lent, which of course turned out to be a fallacy. One man who was a bit of a semi-chef in some dump pub cleaned the shovel. He'd brought the flour and the making of the batters, got a fire going, and he made pancakes and a little liqueur sprinkled over it. So he tells her that, and then he describes how he imagines his future when he goes back to Ireland, when he goes home to look after the Samaritan. He says he'll get a bit of a garden going, cabbage, sprouts, shallots, lettuce, see what the potatoes on that particular soil will grow best. And he says, I'll go to the pub. Stands to reason, I'll go to the pub. But I'll pace myself, no going back to Skid Row for Rafferty now. And the bungalow that he was going to was not in his own part of the country, but it was still home. And he asked out loud that day in London if it was likely that he would once again hear the corncrake, that distinctive call which never, ever faded from his memory. So he goes, and just before he goes, a photograph of him, he stands up rather, falls out of his wallet, and it's a photograph of him as a young boy. It was a snap, really, taken on some riverbank where he and his friends had obviously been swimming. The sheer life in his expression was breathtaking. His hair was tousled, his eyes as youthful and moist as any young man's eyes could be. Not a single feature in that photograph resembled the man sitting beside me, the narrator says. Well, that's youth for you, he says, and took the photograph back. 2 weeks go by, and the narrator, the woman, is in the pub where she goes each week. She has an appointment with an analyst, and she waits in this pub, looks at the clock. She sees a man that resembles Rafferty. Resembles him very much. The kind of man, the hat, the broken knuckle, a man on whom a permanent frost had fallen, which she thinks couldn't be Rafferty. But the barman Adrian, who is very lively and spry, says, he's back. Couldn't take her. They didn't want to hear his stories. Doesn't belong in Ireland. England, ditto. Exile, exile, he says. It's all in the mind.